Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing all out there? This is Chance Rush, and I have the privilege of sitting with uh, three wonderful organizations, three wonderful leaders, and I am honored to be a part of the Indigitech team in partnership, a parent company of the Teltech Group. And today, I have the privilege of hosting our second podcast with a great lineup today. We have Lorraine Guerrero here with us with Indigitech. We have the founder, CEO, boss lady of it all. We have Lisa Hanlon right here with the Teltech Group. And coming with us, I like this last name. We have Andreas Bizarakis coming to us. I'm not Greek, so I might have missed that up. He's coming to us from a Select Spectrum uh, MD. So, welcome all three of you. Hey, listen, ladies first. I'm old school, so let's just go around the horn here. Lisa, introduce yourself and let us know what we got going on over at Teltech, and then we'll talk to the fellas.
Hey everyone, Lisa Hanlon here with the Teltech Group, and today we're going to talk about how to preserve and protect your 2.5 spectrum.
Yeah, thank you. Uh,
Mhm.
Andreas, go ahead, talk to us a little bit. What you got
Yeah,
going on?
absolutely. Really appreciate you having me here. Andreas Bitsarakis, Managing Director of Broadband at Select Spectrum, which is a licensed spectrum brokerage and advisory firm. In our home turf for well over a decade has been the 2.5 band. So certainly excited to speak about this here today.
Well, good, and thank you. And last but not least, and one of the reasons why I get to be here, other than creator, I want to thank Lorraine Guerrero for giving me the opportunity to be part of the Indigitech movement. So, Lorraine, introduce yourself, and let's get down to what we can do in our tribal communities.
Absolutely. Biwo na Pepe. I'm Lorray Guerrero. I'm an enrolled citizen of the Halawasponi people of Hollister, North Carolina, and I am excited to be here. I'm excited that we launched Indigitech this year with the help of Chance. If you saw that launch video, you got a little bit of what we're about and how we're working with tribes in the 2.5. So today, as everyone is here and everyone has stated, we're going to go into a little bit more detail of that 2.5 and what it means and how to preserve it. So thank you all for being here.
It was a blessing and it was amazing when I had the privilege to go out to the Teltech group right here in the Dallas Metroplex. And I mean, talk about an organization that is not only pushing communication, but pushing community. And one of the communities they're really pushing is our indigenous communities, not just here in the Dallas area, but also all across Indian country. When I was out there, at the warehouse, Lisa, Teltech has done such a great job, and thank you for letting Indigitech be a part of this. We last spoke. I was out there, your facilities. Now we're in 2026. Lisa, what has to be done in 2026 as far as tribal communities?
Thank you, and thank you for having us here today as well. I forgot to mention that. I think what's important as we hit 2026 is most of the tribal nations received their 2.5 spectrum in the 2020 timeframe. And then obviously we know the pandemic hit, but there's a very short window and there's a fair amount of tribes that received their 2.5 spectrum that they will lose it if they don't meet a deadline. I think it's by, and Andreas go into it more by October of 2026. So our push today is really to help everybody understand the importance of why your 2.5 matters and why we need to help you get it built out.
Hmm. And Andreas, going over to you, she's going to go ahead and throw that over there to you for me. 2.2, 2.5 uh, uh, gigahertz. Am I saying it right? Is it gigahertz?
Yep.
2.5 gigahertz spectrum. We're throwing over to you. Let's go.
All right, 2.5. I'll try to give you the elevator version because if you give me all day, I'll take it. So 2.5 gigahertz, also known as band 41, in terms of its 3GPP designation. It's the Goldilocks of spectrum. right? And the reason being is because typically higher frequencies can carry more capacity, but travel shorter distances. Lower frequencies can travel far further distances, but handle less capacity. 2.5 is the perfect blend of both. It propagates very, very well through obstructions such as, trees, buildings, so on and so forth. And it also has the ability to carry a significant amount of capacity. So really, really powerful stuff. Performance characteristics are certainly ideal for mobile and fixed wireless broadband, and certainly a very, very valuable asset that's held by the tribes.
Well, me seeing this, when I came out to Teltech and I walked through the facilities, I mean, we have the equipment, we have the knowledge. And Lorray, we were talking on the way out there. You were saying, you were mentioning, maybe October of 2026. There's a lot of tribes out there. If you're listening, there's a lot of tribes out there. You're on that list, and that is going to expire. I think there's a few tribes that may, go on further than 2026, but we have to look into it. So, can you elaborate a little bit on that, Lorray?
Yeah, absolutely. So, back in 2020, the FCC released a spectrum for tribes to apply. There were 420 tribes that were granted this spectrum, and of those 420, there's 150 that expire this year in 2026. And so it is vital that, I mean, it's already we're what in pretty much toward the tail end of January. So we really only have what 9 months, 10 months to get this done. So we need to get started now. And the thing is the great thing is that about this spectrum being awarded to tribes is that the spectrum is the start to our digital sovereignty roadmap for success. And we need to jump on it. Tribes need to jump on it and control it before someone else does. So I mean, this is really going to help tribes start on, venture out and get into and create, a roadway for success with regards to their digital sovereignty.
Lorray, if we don't grab this 2.5, this 2.5, and you say it can go elsewhere, I mean, this is, Andreas said it best. This is powerful stuff. I mean, where could it go? What happens if we don't grab this 2.5?
Well, Andreas can expound upon this a little bit more, but our understanding is it's not going to be lost. Somebody is going to utilize it, and if it's not going to be the tribes, so it will either be auctioned off or go back to the majority owner of the 2.5 spectrum. And Andreas, if you want to expound upon that anymore or correct any of the information that I just stated.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think you're exactly correct. Very well said, Lorray. I mean, the specifics are that there are basically two build-out deadlines. There are the interim build-out deadline, which is already passed. I believe it was sometime in 2024. And then there's the final build-out deadline, which is 2028. How it works is basically if you didn't meet the interim build-out deadline, then your final build-out deadline is accelerated by 2 years. So really what you need to look at is the grant date. And all of this information is available publicly via the FCC's universal licensing system. And of course, Digitech can certainly guide you towards this information. But say, for example, your license was granted in October 2020, per the example that Lisa used earlier, and you didn't meet your interim build-out deadline. That would mean that your final build-out deadline would be in October 2026. Now, if that final build-out deadline isn't satisfied in October 2026, the FCC would automatically revoke the license, and the license would go to whoever the underlying, licensee would be. So that can very much vary depending on where you're at in the country, but it would go to someone else that holds the incumbent license in that geographic area.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who could speak on this. Andreas, I'll stay with you. You talked about revoke. What if there are tribes out there that want this 2.5, that are fighting very hard, and it is revoked? Can any groups here fight to fight that being revoked?
They may be able to petition The revocation of the license. However, I mean, my personal guidance would be to, speak with Indigitec and Teltech and take steps immediately in terms of satisfying the FCC's substantial service requirements. And in the event that you potentially need more time, where you're on the path to doing so and you have the intent to meeting their obligations, but you just need a little bit more time, there's also the option to filing a waiver with the FCC by basically saying exactly what I just mentioned. Hey, we're on the way of doing this, but due to equipment delays or whatever it may be, we need a little more time. And we're asking you, the FCC, to grant us that so that we can satisfy the obligations that you put in place for this frequency.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Well, and to kind of piggyback on what Andreas said, we are very fortunate to have Andreas as one of our partners. Him and I actually met with a tribe and a suggested law firm that has agreed to tribes that do need to waiver for an extension or something of that nature. There is a law firm that is well versed in helping tribes in that go down that realm. So yes, if tribes would look at it and they're like, "Oh, we want to do this, but we got started a little bit late," we have already us as in Digitech, along with Select Spectrum, have already set up the steps to kind of remedy that and help the tribes work through that deadline or past that deadline.
I'm going to go ahead and go over here to Lisa and Lorray, only because I had the privilege of going out to the Teltech warehouse. Lisa, let's start with you. I want to dip into a little bit of why 2.5 matters here. Why do tribal nations need to care? I want to say why they should care, but why they need to care, because October 26th is just like right around the corner. So
Yeah.
talk about this. Why should we care?
So a 2.5 spectrum matters because it gives a tribal nation the legal right to use mid-band airways spectrum over its own lands. It allows the nation to set coverage priorities, governance, and affordability rather than waiting on outside carrier economics. Because as we know, the ROI has not made sense for others to come in and build broadband over the tribal lands. So this opportunity to build this spectrum out, and as Andreas had said, mid-band spectrum is golden. So it matters because it's over your lands. You own it. That in and of itself is valuable. So that's why it is so important not to lose your spectrum.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Lisa. Lorray, I think you mentioned earlier the spectrum is our digital land. We talked about this, how we a lot of our tribal communities, they're way out there in rural areas. So you expand on that a little bit about when you talk about the spectrum is our digital land.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a digital land sovereignty in the, like I said, the beginning roadmap of what the tribe is capable of doing. You build this network initially and you can utilize it for multiple things, not just basic internet. We do us at Indigitec and Teltech, we have partners that can help with different avenues such as telehealth, medicine, remote education, security, cybersecurity, water management, things of that nature. So you can actually utilize the network for more than just basic internet.
Mm-hmm. Well, good. Well, thank you for that, Andreas. I'm going to come back to you here real quick, and I like this word. Well, first of all, let me take a step back here. For maybe not a tribal leader, Andreas, that's listening, maybe not someone who's on council or someone who's in technology. How would you break down the tech world to just somebody living in a tribal community, and how we can play our part to rally to have Indigitec be part of our community? How would you explain this plan to the common person, Andreas?
It's a really great question, Chance. What I would say is that all spectrum, not just 2.5, which Lisa also emphasized is kind of the Goldilocks and really one of the most valuable pieces of spectrum that are out there, beachhead, beachfront property is, spectrum in general is a very finite and scarce resource. You can't make any more of it, right? So, I would certainly say that, those should do everything that they can to make sure that they retain the ownership and title rights of this spectrum. And, similar to any other investment that you would make, it should generate rewards for, decades to come, whether it be connectivity to places, as Lisa alluded to, where, carriers may not be, prioritizing building out networks or enabling various diverse use cases, as Lorray just described, either in the utility or critical infrastructure space. So I think the first step, coming full circle, is to get educated on exactly what this is, what it means for your community, which should inform the necessary steps that need to be taken to protect it.
Good. Thank you for that. Wow, I'm actually learning a lot here, right? And I think not just not just decision makers or people who are in the tech world need to understand about 2.5 in tribal communities. This is sovereignty. This is true sovereignty. Does anyone want to elaborate a little bit on the timeline here?
I would defer to Andreas, who's our in-house expert.
What I would say, it's similar to what I described before. There's not a ton more to it. Is, the first thing you want to check is when your license grant date was. And again, if you reach out to Indigitech, they can steer you toward that information and exactly where it's located, being that it's publicly available. And once that occurs and you understand that, and if in the event that you did not meet the interim build out deadline, it's 6 years from that date, right? So as many have spoken to here on this call, the clock is ticking. This is certainly, one thing about wireless that I should have mentioned before is speed to market versus something like fiber or wired connections, right? This is something that could be deployed in weeks, especially working with Indigitech and Teltech that have the hardware readily available. So I think, get started as soon as you possibly can, because you'll probably need all the time that's available to you.
Hey, Andreas, man, thank you for that input, man. I do appreciate it. Hey, I want to go over here and talk to Lisa and Lorray again. Go back over to you. Lisa, why was it important for the Teltech Group and Digitech to partner in this? Because I've seen you at a lot of different tribal conferences, and you really make an impact there with your presence and your give back. Why was this relationship important?
Well, thank you. For me, Teltech's been focusing on trying to bring broadband to the tribal communities for the last 10 plus years. And it finally dawned on me that there needs to be within Teltech a linear focus of just focusing on tribal broadband. So starting in Digitech and working with the folks that are on the Digitech team, everyone's native, and the only focus is to bring broadband and tribal nations. And as Lorray said, and everybody said, with that broadband, it's education, it's telehealth, it's cultural and language preservation. It brings resiliency to critical services and public safety. There's just so many benefits that a broadband network brings. So having just Indigitech as a division with the sole focus of tribal broadband was extremely important. I wish we would have done it a long time ago, but it is what it is, and we're here now. And Lorray, love his passion on this effort.
Yes, and because of Teltech, certainly gives a lot of avenue and highway for Indigitech. Okay, I'm going to ask this question for the tribal council, the tribal leader for the community. And before I ask this question, I want y'all to know out there, again, everything is right there. We're not ordering parts to have them shipped in and then come up to you. Everything is right there. Relatives, everything is right there. So, Lorray, my question to you is, I'm the tribal chairman. I'm on tribal council, okay? I want in Digitech in my tribal community. What are the steps? What are the processes, and how soon can my tribe be impacted by this movement here with the 2.5? What Give it to me. What's the turnaround, and what can I expect as a tribal leader in my community?
Okay. Like Andrea said, I mean, putting up fixed wireless is a fraction of the time compared to things such as fiber or wired network. So this can happen a lot sooner than later, and a lot sooner than what most people realize, most tribal communities realize. The first thing is, get us there. We'll come there. We'll do a presentation in front of your tribal leadership, your IT director, whoever needs to be in the conversation, right? So get us there. Let us show you what it is we have to offer, a little bit more about what we do, our company, and how we believe that we're the best option for the tribes, based on the fact that we own everything in our warehouse. So, like you said, we don't have to procure it from anywhere else. And then on top of that is that we will. So it's just a four-step process. Essentially, we meet, we do an assessment with one of our engineers who goes out and does a survey, and then we do develop the radio frequency design, do the deployment. And after that, we don't just leave. We don't just build your network and say, okay, we're out. We will maintain it, and then also train tribal members to maintain it, troubleshoot it, to do the residential installs and things of that nature. So it creates jobs. And then the other great thing is that because we own the equipment, and Lisa being the kind-hearted person that she is, we have opportunities for profit sharing here. So where you are currently paying your internet service provider right now, and all that money is going directly to them, now you're putting money right back into your tribal community and providing jobs. So
Wow,
that's how we're different.
good. And I like that, especially about providing jobs. Um,
Exactly.
Also, if Andreas, if you want to elaborate on this, could there be any holdups as far as like in a particular county or a particular state when it comes to reservations on, mapping, anything like that? Did you cover that already?
No, I don't think we did. I mean, as it relates to mapping, I don't see there's any delays. I mean, that's certainly something that Select Spectrum is willing to help with in terms of understanding exactly where your license encompasses, which will inform your strategy on the RF design, as Lorray alluded to make sure you're operating within the boundaries of that geographic service area. So no delays there.
Okay. Hey, listen, I know you got your time. You guys' time is valuable. I don't want to keep you on here much longer, but just with this is a wonderful idea, but it's also real world impact. So, just real briefly, if each one of you want to just say something real briefly on real world impact, we can do that. But I also want to go one more time around. I got a little game I want to play with you at the end of the podcast. So, when I say real world impact, Lorraine, give me something real quick.
Real world impact is you now have connectivity, you have internet. There's no more disparities on your tribal land of people complaining that they can't connect. You can utilize it for education, medicine, remote telehealth, job creation. Obviously, it's your digital sovereignty. The fact that you own the tribe owns the license, and that can't be taken away unless you lose it. Obviously, you can utilize it for security, cybersecurity, through some of our partners, water management, all kinds, fleet management. There's all kinds of applications that the network can be utilized for, other than just plain internet.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, and going back to cultural and language preservation, I think that's important because I think a lot of the tribes are suffering with the lack of most of the elders are the ones that are the language speakers, and we need that the tribes need to have that younger generation. There's tribal broadband case studies that explicitly connect the preservation of culture and language through broadband. With broadband, there's preservation, and then there's missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's bringing public safety and resiliency to critical services that are way over have been needed for a very very long time. So I think there's a lot of benefit that we don't even consider.
Real world impact.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Okay, well, hey, listen, as we close out here, Andreas, I'll start with you. As we close out here, one sentence to advise our viewers. Give me one sentence and we'll just go around the horn here.
Act now and quickly.
Absolutely. All right.
Connectivity is sovereignty.
Okay. How about you, Lisa?
Use it, don't lose it.
That's right. That is right. And I want to thank you all for all of your hard work and being on the front line for our tribal communities. Each and every one of you, huge impact. And we've got to pay attention. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we have our guests. We have from the Teltech Group, we have Lisa Hanlon. Thank you for being here. Our CEO, also Lorraine Guerrero over there at in Digitech. And man, I like that name, Andreas Bitsarakis, I believe, over at Select Spectrum MD. Thank you all for joining me today. And with you all still here, I want to say to whoever watches this, all of our viewers, our tribal communities, we got to act now. We've got to protect our spectrum, because I'll tell you what, this 2.5, if we don't use it, it's going to go make companies billions of dollars. It's going to go make, other people better off when we need to be better off as well. Okay. So we all have to play our part. Get at us. And, we have the link below here. We have ways that you can contact us. And thank you all for being a part of this. Today's message, again, was protecting our spectrum. I'm Chance Rush, and I'm so grateful and thankful to share this platform with three great individuals. And again, my real world is this will make us not only enhance better, stronger tribal communities, but it's going to make our tribal communities safer and more reliable on technology to help our elders and help emergencies and help education and whatnot. So truly is an honor to serve as the host for today. And thank you all for listening. And a little side note, we will be out in Las Vegas in March. We want you in our workshop taking place, I believe, March the 23rd on a Tuesday. You're going to find me at the conference, and I'm going to get everybody in that to hear more about what the Teltech Group is doing, what Indigitech is doing, and what Select Spectrum MD is doing. I'm Chance Rush. I'm your host. Thank you all for joining me today. You all have a great day.